Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Friday, July 11th, 4:28 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state still operating on that uptrend since the subsequent follow-through days on the 22nd and the 23rd. Take a look at GROTECTION gauge over here on the right side of the screen. Market leaders with the green arrow, although couple strong groups, specifically the cybersecurity stocks, starting to leak off a little bit, and I'll cover that into the charts. But on balance, money flows from one group into another, and on balance, the leaders still look quite well. Short term, still above that 21 EMA. Green arrow with that yellow stoplight. Medium term, above the 50-day moving average. Green arrow as well with the yellow stoplight. Closed about 5% above the 50-day moving average as of today's close. And then long term, still trending above the 200-day moving average. What happened today? Bitcoin super strong fall through, puts in another all-time high, and the S&P and Nasdaq starting to flag out in this 7-day consolidation, which is good. You can either get a correction via price or time, and for now, it's via time. The ATR, the S&P 500 is down to 0.88%, and just consolidating, letting those moving averages catch up. The volatility remains quite low for the S&P 500. Today was only a 30-point range as well. And then here are the final numbers, kind of all colors today. 21 over 21 list was roughly flat on the day. 9 green, 5 neutral, 7 red. AVAV was the big winner of today. And basically overnight we got news that Defense Secretary Hegseth basically fast-tracked drone development, and all those names gapped up quite nicely. AVAV closed the day up 11%. Turbo 12 down 2.81%. 4 green, 8 red. Big 8 up 0.29%. RG8 down 1.16%. S&P 500 down 0.33%. Equal 8 down 0.73%. QQQ down 0.23%. Equal 8 down 0.7%. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.66%. Mid caps down 0.88%. Russell 2000 down 1.38%. 60/40 stock and bond down 0.43%. Flagship portfolio GROTECTION down 0.29%, and then TurboTection up 0.4% on the day. Let's get an interesting correlation chart of the S&P 500, and as you can see, we're in this 7-day consolidation, and just building this range. So maybe next week we get some clarity which way. But again, you can see how tight these candles are, and I'll just go to an intraday and just like today was just super tight range, little morning flush, so be it, and then just hung around in this range, and absolutely nothing wrong with that. Tend to like that, and then lean in on the leading stocks, and let's see, and close exactly 5% above the 50-day moving average, 1.9% above the 21, and these start to continue to slope back up. And then 10-week, 4.3% above the 10-week right now, and you can see just another tight weekly inside week right here. Looks good. So yeah, S&P chart is looking constructive. RSP again, very similar chart as the S&P 500, just in a multi-day range, consolidating after strong breakouts. QQQ again getting super tight. Volume is drying up quite nicely, and again, we'll be watching where is this going to go into next week. And we're on watch. We're watching for a break of the 8 EMA. If that breaks, how does price react to the 21? Is the market going to take a trip to the 50-day? These are all questions we don't know. They're just scenarios that we play in our head and think about as we approach every new trading day and the new trading week. Mag 7, nice strength here. Amazon was moving higher. I believe people are speculating that Jeff Bezos is done selling his shares. So this one was kind of a highlight in the mid cap tech today. I'll take a look at Amazon. You can see a little bit of relative strength on that one today. Dow Jones Industrial Average just flagging here as well. Mid caps again, all the indexes are looking virtually the same. Big moves up, breakouts, and now consolidating. The trend is up. Look good. Russell 2000, similar thing, still holding above that 8 EMA. ARC again broke out of this flag, just coming back inside day. Leader is breaking the 21. That's something to keep an eye out. But some of the IBD Some style stocks. A couple of them got hit this week, and I'll cover those when I get into the chart. VIX still sitting at that 16 spot. I will say, seasonality wise, the VIX tends to sometimes see some run ups in July into August. Again, secondary indicator, just something to keep an eye on. You can go to equityclock.com and get that VIX seasonality chart. The dollar potentially trying to put an undercut and reclaim of this 97.92 left side. And again, have mentioned this pretty much every video, but again, you know, positioning is very bearish on the dollar, most stretch from the 200-day moving average in years. So perhaps this starts to bounce back up on a mean reversion bounce. But again, the dollar's been extremely weak. And that is why precious metals like gold have been so strong. Back above all these moving averages, just still in a big range though. GDX, same thing, found support at the 50-day moving average. And then silver, big winner today, just monster breakout on this one, really. And some of these other names, right? AG, nice breakout. PAAS, that's Pan American Silver. Again, really nice breakout. So many sectors working. And then the star of the week, Bitcoin, with a monster fall through out of this breakout. And we've been talking about this at Revere for the past month, and it's finally coming to life. Ted did a podcast section on Bitcoin, walking through our thoughts and our size and IBIT for TurboTection, along with GROTECTION owns IBIT too. But again, super nice breakout on this one, and yeah, not giving any back so far, so that's great to see. Bonds back below 200-day TLT, just absolute no man's land, and that coincides with rates starting to pop back up. This weekly chart doesn't look too bad. Keep an eye on it. TNX, same thing, popping back up, back above all the moving averages, and kind of say it's broke back above this downtrend line right there. Alrighty, that's the inter-asset correlation. Let's take a look at the tally tape. Let's see. News-wise, nothing crazy. Trump said most trading partners will face 15 to 20% tariffs. Today's keys, S&P versus the 8 all-time high, green arrow. Qs versus the 8 all-time high, Russell versus the 8, green arrow. Did reject at that 2249 level, and then Bitcoin continues to fire through all-time highs. Going into Monday of next week, just watching the same stuff. Day count now 7 days in this consolidation, 14 days above the 8 EMA, and 54 days above the 21 EMA. You can make an argument that for a power trend, that's getting long in the tooth. But again, no predictions, just going to fall price. If the market's going to roll over, we're going to see that in leadership, and we're going to see that in the indexes. First, they're going to break the 8 EMA, then they're going to break the 21 EMA, and you just take it level by level, day by day. Action today was just, morning weakness, found support, rallied back up, and just bopped around in a 30-point range. Sectors wise, silver was quite the breakout along with Bitcoin. Uranium had a nice bounce today, gold, energy. So you've been seeing, sectors are beebing and wobbing. One day these things are up, next day they're down. And overall, it's modestly healthy, just showing sector rotation of bull market. Money leaves one place, it's going to other places. On weakness, jets, airlines, biotech, ITB with rates back up, software, and then cybersecurity. Those are the notable names that kind of starting to sell off a little bit. GROTECTION today just sold Shake Shack 1.35 beta, 5.75% open heat. TurboTection bought a starter in ASTS, sold Toast, and then trimmed RBRK 1.89 beta, 6.69% open heat. Bottom line, Bitcoin logs another all-time high with S&P and Nasdaq in a 7-day range. Let's get into the charts. GROTECTION sold Shake Shack, breaking the 8, and this, as GROTECTION's growing, Revere AUM's at 300 million now. We need to raise the dollar volume requirements for the stocks we're trading. And although this, is trading a healthy amount of shares, it does have a smaller float and it trades a little bit illiquid. And so we just cut this, around break even, slightly below. Not doing anything wrong. It's just one of those situations where if this had a big down day and volume dried up, could be an issue getting out of it. So that was Shake Shack. TurboTection bought a starter in ASTS. Super strong bounce off the 8 or off the 21 EMA. closed back above the 8, and like this one a lot. See if it works, but we're talking a 6-month base, huge move up on huge volume. Ant showed up, and this was the first pullback to the 21 EMA, and just had favorable 60-minute stochastic, broke this down trend line. Looks good. We'll see if it follows through. Was really going today, and then just kind of came back with the market, but again closed relatively strong, up 3.66% on the day. And if you guys recall, this was an absolute monster in 2024. Went on a huge super linear run. So see if we can maybe get something like that again here. And then sold toast. Tried it on the breakout, nasty rejection, and just this thing's really choppy and just continued to foul. So cut that, and then trimmed RBRK, breaking the 50-day, still holding a little piece with a stop that's a little bit lower. But I do want to say some of cybersecurity stocks are weakening a little bit, right? ZS, this is a pretty nasty 2-bar break. On volume. Today was a little bit lighter, but this is coming back into the 50-day, right? You have FTNT, pretty nasty 2-day break. CrowdStrike, no, not CoreWeave. CrowdStrike, again, pretty nasty 2-day break. Uh, yeah, so you can see Cloudflare again breaking the 21. So definitely some distribution coming into this sector. They've all been super strong. And what's interesting is there hasn't really been any notable news that we can find. Again, this is cybersecurity ETF again. Two pretty significant downside bars coming into the 50-day. So for now, it's going to see if they start to get supported. But on a closing basis, some weakness showing up there. And so we'll just have to see. I mean, zooming out to the weekly on some of these charts, right? They still look overall constructive. Crowd into the 10-week, Z-scalar into the 10-week as well. And this is the first half of the 10-week moving average after the space breakout. And on the daily, these were quite extended. Z-scalar went from 216 to over $300. And so now we watch it on the pullback, see if this sector can find support or continues to weaken. That was trades today. Let's take a look at 21 over 21 list. AVAV, what a move on this one. And yeah, just we are actually watching this on Thursday for an entry as it found support at 21. Didn't take it, and then of course got that nice news. Gapped up huge and up 11% on the day. But again, still on watch. This one looks promising. CCJ, strength back into the nuclear, uranium nuclear stocks. First pullback to the 21-day. Nice strong bounce here. Credo, again, new highs today. This one continues to be super strong. Definitely one of the TMLs, no give back whatsoever. SoFi, another one, just monster move, continue to move higher, extremely strong. PWR consolidating at the highs. DoorDash consolidating at the highs as well. NVIDIA popped back up into new highs again today. Perhaps getting a little bit short-term extended, but again, NVIDIA chart looking like this at new highs. Can't really be bearish the market, AI, or semiconductors in general. VST consolidating right under the highs. Again, part of that utility power generation group. Light bounced off 21-day. GEV continues higher. Spotify coming back into the 50-day. Palantir inside day under the highs. Net covered this one, breaking the 21. Robinhood, again, rejected that 100 spot. Again, looks fine, trending nicely. Hasn't even touched the 21 this whole run since it's doubled. Short term, perhaps a little bit extended, but again, we're not here to try to guess the high or the low. For now, this just continues to trend nicely. And Axon, harsh break of the 50-day, and that this is another leader that's seen some distribution, something that we haven't really seen that much. Coinbase, nice action on this one again today. Broke out of this, flag here, continuing higher up the right side. This one looks really good. I've talked just about the huge weekly, monthly base on this one, looks very promising. Uber coming back into the 8 EMA, lacking follow through from this breakout. Shake Shack covered that one. FCX sitting bounced right off the 8 today. Zscaler, Cybername, and then CoreWeave. This one, huge unwind on this one this week. And, we're kind of talking about this could go both ways. Pulling back to the 21, super tight inside candle. And then once it broke that, this one accelerated to the downside. And pretty big downside move for CoreWeave today. This is one of the big, beta momentum stocks of the market, pulling back quite hard. So we'll see if that leaks off to other areas of the market. Circle's another one, pretty decent down day, down 7.67% on the day. And again, these went on huge runs, multi-100% moves. So pulling back's nothing wrong. Just might need some more time to base to give a better risk to reward proper setup that we look for. But definitely keep an eye on these ones, although some of them are breaking the 21. CoreWeave at the 50-day and back to CoreWeave, and that coincides with first touch the 10-week moving average. So it actually closed below. But again, first tap since this IPO base breakout. Definitely one to watch. All right, Turbo 12. KTOS, this is another aerospace and defense name benefiting from that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth comments. And again, this one's extremely strong. It's another new high on volume. LEU own this in TurboTaction. This one acts extremely well. The leader in the nuclear, and this is the only pure play nuclear enrichment stock in the market. At a 3 billion market cap, you could say it's roughly 3.5 billion market cap. You could say it's roughly cheap, but price confirms, and this one continues higher. Looks really good. The weekly, and again in the right theme. ASTS close right at the 21-day. AAOI kind of flagging here. Could say it's maybe wedging. We'll see. Oddity. Harsh breaking the 21 again, coming into the 50-day. This whole range has just been so choppy. Lemonade, harsh break of the 21 as well. This will be getting booted. Oost, close right at the 8 EMA. This one's extended too, but perhaps it just starts to base out and consolidate in this flag. INOD, again, this one so choppy. Like tries to break out, comes back in, tries to break out, comes back in. And that's the nature of some of these stocks right now. Sedge pulling back to the 8, Solar pulled back a little bit today. Qubit breaking the 21. This one's going to get ditched. For next week as well. And a lot of the quantum stocks were weak today, actually, while we're there. IONQ breaking the 21-day. You got RGTI breaking the 21-day. And yeah, so we'll see how these react. Sezzle, this is another one that's been one of the strongest stocks in the market. I wouldn't call this a liquid leader, but I mean, it's still relatively liquid. More of a smaller mid-cap name. With a $33 million float. And this one's breaking the 21-day quite hard after this huge frozen rope. And sometimes you see on these frozen ropes, they never look like they're going to pull back until they do. And when they start to unwind, and that's what Sezzle did this week. Dave, pretty much the same exact chart, just frozen rope, and then 4 days of super harsh selling on volume. So these are likely going to need more time. And so, yeah, definitely some warning shots on the 21 over 21 list and the Turbo 12, especially with how many are going to have to be knocked off this week. And really, it was Bitcoin that was the highlight of the week. And this was what was showing the most relative strength. Coinbase covered that. MSTR, this one's potentially trying to break out through this 430 level as well. So that seems to be where the money's flowing for now on this breakout. We'll see how Bitcoin trades over the weekend if it can follow through. But historically, when Bitcoin breaks out of a 6-12 month base, it tends to trend. And these big base breakouts don't come along so often. You saw the one in 2024, pretty strong move, and very similar now. And you got other cryptos working. ETHA, this is owned in TurboTaction as well, breaking out of a really nice base. 3 days up on huge volume, so maybe this starts to rest, handle out. That is to be determined. But again, crypto was really the highlight of the week, and still definitely stock pickers market. Some carnage and right Zscaler, like huge distribution, and then strength in some other names. So 5% above the 50-day as well. We continue to just stay nimble and take it day by day, level by level, moving average by moving average. So hope you guys had a good trading week, and that is going to wrap it. As always, love to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com, or you can reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Find me on Twitter at ConnorJBates_, and then you can reach us on the phone at 855-REAL-WEALTH, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Give it a like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate everyone that watches. And Thanks for watching and hope everyone has a great weekend. See you guys next week.